Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, you're good. I was just like, ooh, what should I have said?
Let's yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Let's talk about money later.
Yeah, let's talk about money later.
Our recording lady interrupted you. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I love her. She's my best friend.
I don't often run the episode,
I
so
know.
on the recording side. So hopefully I'm not fucking it up. But it says it's
Mm,
recording.
well, who
Welcome
knows?
to Partial Credit. Hi, Lily.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to Partial Credit, the education podcast with a twist. What's the twist?
We record it whenever the fuck we want.
And we release it whenever the fuck we want. I really want to get this one out tomorrow, Monday. Uh, but we will see. Monday the 6th, do you think we can pull it off? I think we can
I
pull it
I
off.
think you can. I think you can.
So there's been a big gap between our episodes. Um, I think entirely your fault. You fucked off to Europe for a month.
I did. It was entirely my fault. I was in Italy and Paris. 2 weeks in Italy, 1 week in Paris.
Yep, and she didn't get me anything. Um,
Excuse me, you don't know that, sir. I just haven't been to your house.
It's true, yeah.
Like I haven't even seen you.
It's true, yeah. It's actually been a
How am
really
I
long
supposed to
time
give you
because
stuff?
at the place where we both used to work that we're going to reveal today,
Yep.
where we're going to talk about the place where we used to work at one point in this episode, you used to be able to come visit me from time to time and
Correct.
pick
Yeah,
up
and give
canned
you said
goods
gifts.
and give me gifts. What have you given
Yep.
me? A headache?
Yep. Probably a migraine.
Yeah.
A pain in the ass.
But how was your how was Europe?
Europe. Beautiful. It was amazing. I loved Rome, and Venice was just crazy amazing. I was not like you've seen pictures of Venice, and
It's very
it's
wet
just a
looking.
whole different experience when you're there. Um, I will say if you are trying to get around Venice with a map, it is one of the hardest things. If you're using
Why?
like Google Maps, Google Maps does not register all 400 and some bridges and canals that they have. So Google Maps is like, okay, you're just gonna have to jump. Like, there's no way. I don't know how you're gonna do this, or you're gonna have to go on this like crazy path. So I ended up just like turning the map off and like having one pin and like navigating down these super dark, creepy alleys. And so it
So
was my family's joke that I love creepy alleys now. So
are
that's
you spent nearly a full month in Europe, right? In
yeah.
Paris and Venice.
Yeah.
Are you a full socialist now?
Well, I guess. Sorry, Chester has been extremely naughty as of late, so
He
I
said
think
so.
he's pissed because I was gone for so long. Um I
Who was keeping an eye on Chester?
My cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other
so she
dogs or
nope, this was the she wants a dog, and my dog's kind of an asshole, so I was like if you can handle him, you can handle any dog.
yeah.
So she was not happy with him because so she lives in Cambridge, and she lives in a like a condo unit, and there's multiple, like there's 4 stories,
Okay.
and he would bark every single time someone would open their door, or if like the door to the back and the front open, he would bark. And I
See,
realized
we're
I was
lucky
like,
Dusty doesn't really bark.
oh gosh,
We've had a
yeah.
construction crew at the house and he's just like, "All right, that's
He's like,
cool."
okay, cool. Are they gonna give me snacks?
Right. That's pretty
Where are
much
my
it.
snacks now?
Yeah.
I love his little face. Oh
Oh
my
yeah, I got
gosh.
your message on that picture I
Oh my
posted.
gosh, yeah, on Instagram, his
He's
little
getting
face.
more and more gray.
He's getting more and more cute. I love a little gray in a dog.
Yeah.
I think it's the cutest thing. All right, we should probably jump right into this
Yeah,
episode.
what is our episode today? Do we have a subject?
I'd
Current events?
say current events, economics, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, did we do an economics episode? I have no
I have
idea.
no fucking clue.
Yeah.
So this is all born off of basically both of us getting new jobs, sort of seeing the world for what it can be, um, and the recent events that happened with John Deere. And you're going to talk to us a little bit about what happened at John Deere this morning.
I am. Sorry, I had to take a most annoying squeaky toy away from Chester.
Oh, thank you.
So we won't have that interrupting us. Hi, honey. Um, all right.
So she's talking
So
to somebody in the audience.
I am. I'm like, okay, honey. Um, I'm not sure how many people watch the news. Okay, John Deere has posted record profits despite the strike. Is
That's
the article
amazing.
that you sent me,
Yes,
and that I thoroughly read, um,
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago. Um, we're not gonna lie. Um, so I actually had not heard about this until you sent me this information and this episode. So I'm just gonna quickly read some of the facts that really
Oh, we found
you
a
hear
different
this.
squeaky toy.
We found
Weave
a
it in.
different squeaky
I
toy.
love it.
Um,
We'll put timestamps in the description for each squeak, so you
yes,
know when
yes.
to
So you
expect the
know when
squeaks.
the exactly. Oh my gosh. He also got one of those pigs that goes wah, like it's got that low
What's it do?
pitched wah.
It's like a
It,
Christopher Nolan film.
yeah, a little bit.
Bwong.
Wah. Oh gosh. I got a new headset. Sorry, people, for this. So you might hear more of my breathing than normal. All right. The Midwest Construction Company, also known as John Deere, um, posted a annual net income of nearly $6 billion, more than double the 2.8 billion it earned a year earlier, and easily clearing its previous financial record earning of 3.5 billion reached in 2013.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is insane amount of profit growth.
Yeah.
Insane amount.
Yeah. So what else was going on at John Deere while they were making $6 billion?
Well, they weren't paying their workers a living wage. Is really essentially what the strike is about. And it's well, okay, so it's about the steel factory workers, the union steel factory workers, I believe it is. Um, what are you eating?
Another muckluck?
Oh God, I'm gonna kill him. Yeah, so uh was it union workers? I'm sorry. I'm strike continues, the longest rank. File members rejected two tentative agreements reached between Deere and Union Negotiation Committee. Yes, correct. It is. I love under the picture it says related articles. Labor flexes its muscles as leverage tips from employers and workers. Anyways, so more than 10,000 members of the United Auto Workers Union were on strike from October 14th through November 17th. And this, so that would have only affected 2 weeks of their fiscal year, according to this article, because their fiscal year ends on October 31st. John Deere did not break out the costs of the strike during the quarterly or overall earnings report. So we don't actually have that information. Now, going into
So
what
what I love about
GEO
so,
or CEO. Ooh, yeah, go ahead.
so no, I love that they held out and they held out and they held out in these negotiations, and everybody's talking about how much money they're losing because they're not working for what I think was about 30 something, 30 odd days.
Yeah.
But they got a 10% raise and an $8,500 bonus
Yep.
by by holding the CEO accountable for their pay, which I fucking
Exactly.
love. Anyway,
Exactly.
and the company. Um, Now, the thing that this article kind of leaves out is that a lot of it was about how the CEO's pay kept going up and up and up.
I was
And
just about to bring that
yeah,
up. I was
yeah,
just about to say
that's what
that
I'm looking
that
for.
CEO, John May, his salary, his wage or salary would be a salary. His salary kept increasing, but the workers did not. And even though they were, producing and working and producing the company like two times what they've made in the past, like
John
six
D,
billion dollars.
his salary, or what he made rather, because it's like complicated stock option shit that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't get into because I'm not that smart. But John May, that Lily just mentioned, 14,753,774 dollars.
Correct. And he's
Uh,
not the worst of them.
no,
That's the thing. Like John Deere is like not the CEO of John Deere is not like the worst of
no, he's not an evil
the
guy.
no,
He's
like
he
I mean
is
we can
gaming
we
a
can talk
system
about
that has
yeah.
developed over the last 30 odd years, um, which I really want to talk about. Do you have more John Deere stuff
Mhm.
though?
I do not. We can move on
Okay,
from
we can
from
post
John Deere.
pictures
John
of
Deere
Lily
was kind of just an example of to get us into the bigger conversation that we were about to start
of
and
CEO pay. Yeah.
of
Well,
CEO
and
pay.
we do have photos of Lily drunkenly driving a John Deere, so we know whose side she's really
Yeah.
on. So,
I I'm on the side of red drink. Um
so I want to talk about how CEO pay has gotten so wildly out of control since the 90s. And I don't want to say it's his fault, but it all sort of stems from one economist by the name of Kevin Murphy. Kevin Murphy pointed out in about 1990 that CEOs were being paid a large amount of money regardless of how the company did.
mhm.
So he proposed that ridiculous pay, and this is during a recession, not a major recession like we've seen recently, but a pretty minor recession. But workers' wages were not moving, labor was not moving, and CEO pay was.
Yeah.
So Kevin Murphy, the economist, proposed that it should be based off of performance of the company, which on its face I think is very reasonable. Now, fast forward a few years, and a young, charismatic man, a governor from Arkansas, is running for president. And he's campaigning on this very idea that during this recession, while the people that are out there voting aren't getting more money, their bosses are making more and
Mhm.
more money. So they're out there busting their backs, making the rich people richer. You know,
Yep.
and so he campaigns on this to try to get a certain amount of accountability for these CEOs, right? So he goes, he gets the presidency. Now he's going to
Mhm.
start making good on these campaign promises. And in 1993, the tax code changes concerning corporations. Um, what you pay in taxes is based on money made minus expenses, right? So the company makes X number of dollars, and then you take out what it costs for office space, computers, pens, the wages of the rank and file employees, and the CEO pay. So now all of this is being taken into account when you do your taxes at the end of the year.
Yep.
But now that pay is capped at $1 million. Those expenses that you can
Correct.
that you can
Yep.
figure out gets capped at $1
So,
million.
so no, yeah, no matter what, it's $1 million. Like if it actually calculates out to higher than $1 million, you are capped at as $1 million. You do
Right.
not have to pay more than $1 million.
Well, yeah, your taxes, what you can write
With
off gets capped at $1
yes,
million. Sorry.
yes,
So then if your balance sheet doesn't work for that $1 million, you're fucked, right? You're not
yeah.
making money. So this is using Kevin Murphy's idea that CEOs should be based on performance. And then that wording, that language gets brought into the tax code. So now
Mm,
that $1 million cap does not apply to performance based pay. So now if we're paying our CEOs based on performance, then no longer that 1 million cap doesn't apply to these large corporations, right?
yeah.
So now we're hitting that slippery slope. Um,
God, yeah.
so now
We're gonna go down.
no
Everyone
matter
ready?
no matter how much you pay a CEO, you can deduct it. But of course, that cap still applies to the wages of your hourly,
Yeah, your
laborers,
hourly employee.
your customer facing storefront folks. So this is now just happening in the economy, and it's, I don't want to say unnoticed, but it's okay. It's legal.
Yeah.
It's all right. And between 1992 in 1996, the average CEO pay at the top 500 corporations roughly doubled from about $4 million salary to about an $8 million salary. And it continues to go up. In 2020, CEOs were paid 351 times that of a typical worker.
Wow.
Since
Just
1978, so that's 43 years. In the last 43 years, CEO pay has gone up 1,322%.
let's just let that sink in
You
for
want
a
to
second.
marinate there? Let's talk about
I want
this.
let's just let that marinate right there because 1,000 over 1,000%. Percent.
1,322%. Uh,
That's insane.
you want a good number? So
Yeah, I
we have
do.
these two numbers I want to review real quick, but I have one number that I think actually gives it the impact it needs,
Yep.
and then we talk about whether we're taking a break in this episode today. It's a little early to start
Uh,
drinking.
I think this is going to be a short episode because of depression and
So
the what we're about to do in the later section.
in 2018, a median Walmart employee would have to work for 1,000 years to equal what their CEO made in 1 year.
Yep.
So that's
1,000.
1,000 years. So I think as far as, we talk about the subject of this episode, this is why I like calling it current events, because it really
Yeah.
is about like disproportionate wages, um, and kind of how that happens.
Yeah.
We've talked last season about the wage gap between men and women in your pink tax episode, and that's huge. And
Yeah.
we're not leaving that out. I think
Oh, no,
we're
no, that's
it's
definitely still present
gonna
and prominent, but
it's gonna come up in a minute because
yeah.
I assume because it's gonna be a surprise to both of us because I still don't know what you made and you still don't know what I made. But that being said, we are both former employees of
Major
a
corporation.
major corporation. Um, and
Most of you shop there.
and that corporation was, and will be Home Depot. So I was there probably about a week short of 2 years, or 2 weeks short of 2 years. About how long were you there?
9 months.
9 months. Uh,
9 months.
but
And
enough to make your way around the store
I will, yeah, I will go through all of
and
the all
And
of the
you,
positions that I
yeah,
held in
and this
that
was at
place.
peak pandemic,
This
when the
was
theater
so
industry shut down, and
I started a little bit before the pandemic happened. Mostly because I was just looking for kind of a second job to kind of like have a little extra like fun money, like a
yeah.
you know and then the pandemic happened and it was my primary source of income. I started out as a part-time employee. I was a cashier. Um, and then because apparently I'm smart and trustworthy,
Oh
um,
yeah, I forgot that you did the
they
cash.
I was put in the vault. So I would count all of the money for the tills, and I would make sure the vault was balanced, and pretty much just sit in the back, wait for people to ask for money from the cashier side, and I would do that when the other person um, was unavailable. And so that was kind of a sporadic, like, hey, here's your 3 times a week you have to be up at 5 in the morning to count money. And I was like, my brain does not function that well at 5 in the morning. And they're like, yeah, you have to make sure everything's all good. And
or else,
it,
or else our CEO won't get another house.
yeah,
And you also were on the merchandising team for the store for a time.
correct. Which is different than the apron side, as they call it.
Right. You're
Um,
kind of a subcontractor.
yeah, it's a little weird because it's still under the Home Depot Corporation. Um, but they're not like technically a sales associate as
Right. Right.
yeah, so
It's a
like
totally other thing, and I feel like maybe we should leave that out of this discussion, but
yeah,
because I don't think
yeah.
that that pay kind of equals what we're talking
Actually,
about, or
uh
maybe it
I
will.
never got a I made the same amount as a cashier and as a vault person and as a Met associate.
So
My
regardless of
pay,
your level of responsibility, you made the same amount of money.
regardless of my level of responsibility, I made the exact same amount of money
Interesting.
until we got the like pandemic increase.
Right. And we'll talk about the bonus
Yeah,
that went along with that as well. But
correct. Yes.
so I worked at the pro desk, or contractor services the entire time. I would help out in other departments, but essentially my job was to help contractors get what they needed in a timely manner, get them out the door, blah blah blah, pitch credit cards, and help walk-up customers with whatever problem they might have, and try to help them figure that out. So, which was an interesting job, but not a physically demanding job. I largely just stood there. Um,
Which is actually very physically demanding if you can't stand. Um, so I would just like to bring up the credit card thing. That is
okay.
one of my biggest
Oh, it's
fucking pet peeves.
predatory.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Dad. Sorry, Gary. It, I know it's they push it
Yeah.
so very hard. And actually, like in all in all honesty, the Home Depot credit card is actually a good investment if you are
Yeah.
building a house. It's a great thing to have. However, the way they market it and the way
They
they
push
would
and
literally,
push.
as a cashier, they would be like, you need to get this certain amount of credit cards in order to like they would do incentive programs where they're like, if you do this amount of credit cards, you'll get this prize.
Oh, you'll get a
If
candy bar.
you get a candy bar, like good job, like but your performance review was based on the amount of credit cards you would get.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I remember getting talked to because I was not pushing credit cards and I said, "Great, I don't believe in doing that. If someone asks me to sign up for a credit card,
Yeah.
I will gladly sign someone up for a credit card, but I will not be jumping down people's throat."
No, I couldn't do it. Some of my peers were extraordinarily aggressive about it, and
Yes.
it made me a little nauseous.
Uh,
Um,
it it's a little sickening. Um, it is, but like in all honesty, the Home Depot credit card is great. Like it's for building a house and being able to have, that credit card, and I can tell you a little trick about it. And like there's
Well, let's not try to get anybody any Home Depot credit cards today.
no, you
I do.
you
So I want to stay on track here with
yes,
wage discrepancies, and I think
yes,
we're going to
yeah,
both say what we made here shortly,
yes,
but and I think that will sort of speak to the gender gap that we talked about. But after I left my employment at Home Depot in early November, I posted a survey on Reddit asking if people would be interested in having a conversation about what we make in different states,
yeah.
uh, and that specific survey had 314 people vote for it. Um, 261 of those people voted yes. 53 voted no. Um, so it's a pretty clear winner on whether we should or shouldn't talk about our wages. And
Oh,
so I did.
I
I did, and I got 138 responses. We're not going to read through all 138
no,
today,
no,
but this comes on the back of what is Home Depot's newest policy, where you sort of are only getting a raise once a year, and it's
yeah,
company wide. Doesn't exactly seem to be merit based any longer.
yeah.
Um, and
Also, the fact that they do not want you to talk about what you make with other
they
people.
make a big
They
deal out of
they
it,
make a huge I just really want this to be noted is they make a huge deal
which is
about
really
not
why we
talking
wanted to
about.
do this
Yes, that's
episode. Because
it,
fuck you,
it
I'm going to talk about what
well
I
also
make.
I have always been a huge proponent of like telling people what, talking about what you make and
It's a
because
step towards collective bargaining. It's
thank you.
yeah, it's
It's just idiotic to be like, oh, I don't want to tell you how much I make because I probably make more than you because I do such and such job. And it's like, yes, you probably do make more than me because your job is probably a little more physically demanding, or there's other components to that, or you've been there longer, and there are other things like um I definitely have had this discussion in the field that I'm currently in, and it being like I make $20 more than you, and I'm like, okay, but you've also been doing this for 20 years longer than me,
right. Yeah,
like and you're
there is
doing
common
something
sense
that
to it.
exactly, and I'm not going to be pissed off about this. I
Right.
just want to know 20 years from now, if I calculate
Is it worth the
growth,
investment of my time?
exact yeah, exactly. Like, is this job worth my time?
Yeah.
Like, are they giving me what I am worth? Because
I
honestly,
I I look at it as selling my free time.
there you go. And is that amount that they're offering you worth your time?
In
In
the
and
case
what
of Home Depot, it was worth 39.99 hours every week. It was like, this isn't
Oh
worth.
my God.
Now, do I make a similar wage now? Yes, but it's worth it, which is the thing. All right, do you want to do the big reveal here and then we get into
Yeah,
the
I
survey, we
think
sort
it's
of
time.
talk about what
I am
people are
going
making across the
to,
country?
yeah, so I am going to say what I made pre-pandemic
Okay.
increase. Um, so as a cashier, as a vault, I don't even know the bookkeeper, they call it a
Yeah,
bookkeeper.
they call it a bookkeeper. You're not
But
keeping
you're not
books.
keeping
You're
books, so
you're
it
different.
doesn't make,
You're like the Uber cashier.
yeah, you're
You,
like the ultra cashier.
ultra
Um,
cashier.
yeah, because there's head cashiers and then there's the person who actually doles out the money.
Right.
And I was making the same as a cashier and as a person who doled out the money and as a Met team associate. I made $15 an hour.
That was your ending pay.
No, that was my starting pay before, and then I got a dollar increase to $16 an hour.
So, oh, oh, Megan's here. Megan's getting stuff. So I started significantly before the pandemic
Yep.
at as a pro desk associate. I kind of covered that. Stand there, answer questions, take orders, make sure shit happens. Um, Occasionally run around and pull an order. Definitely not working nearly as hard as some of the closest people to me, say in the lumber department or building materials. These
Oh my
animals
God.
who
They have
somehow
to,
do it.
oh my gosh.
I started at $19 an hour and ended with a $1 increase of $20 an hour.
For 2 years.
Yeah, I was not much more than a cashier. There were some people at the desk with me that we would joke about how we were the highest paid cashiers in the store because we are taking the order, pushing some buttons, and making it happen.
Yep.
So that I find alarming. So there's always been a $4 discrepancy between the two of us.
I think what's alarming is that for 2 years you still did not make
Well, I
like
wasn't exactly a company man.
no. It's
I'm
true. Like it's really true. Like because if you worked the system, you would get you would probably get more increases.
yeah,
And I was not willing to work the system.
no.
I knew Home Depot was a temporary job for me. It was always a temporary position for me. Everyone would always be like, "Oh, how long are you gonna stay here? Like, don't you
We're a
love it? We're
family.
a family." And I'm like, "Okay, first of all, we're not a family. Um, I'm sorry, you're not my family. I appreciate you and I like some of the people that are there, but we're not a family.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
try
I
and
made
pull
some
that shit with me."
friends,
Yeah, no.
but uh,
We wouldn't have met if it weren't for
it's true.
our employment there.
I think it
Which
should be when you go to work for a company like that, you have to recognize that they did not know who you were when you walked in the door,
yep,
and they don't know who you are once you leave,
correct.
which is rather depressing.
Yeah.
But
I was so severely depressed at that job. Like it was so exhausting for me to go into that building every day.
and to
And
not let you smoke weed, to me,
I know,
if they just let people smoke weed,
I
they'd
know.
probably be.
I think everyone would be a little happier. Um, it was just the amount of chaos and
I think
just
we
oh
both
my
experienced
gosh.
that sort of intense duress that came
Yeah.
with working there, and
Now, I will say if we're going to compare it to a place like Walmart, Walmart is 1,000 times worse, to be honest. Like I've
oh
heard
God,
nothing but
yeah.
horrible, horrible things from working at Walmart. But this is the problem. Like Walmart is a multi-billion dollar corporation, and they treat their employees like trash.
But
Um,
before
now,
we get
yeah,
into wages across the country
yeah.
at Home Depot specifically, I have one very specific problem with the way they treat their employees, um, and it's how do I put this? So there is someone who, let's say their heater broke.
Hmm.
Okay, they don't have heat in their home. They will put a poster,
Hello, right to me.
right? Well, yeah,
At me right now.
yes. They will put a poster up in the break room asking for everybody to contribute from their own paychecks. People who can barely, who are sometimes looking at the gas going into their vehicle and calculating, well, three-quarters of a tank should be able to get me through the week. They
Correct.
turn and ask them to provide heat and the tools that is needed instead of just going down the aisle with the fucking heaters in it, and taking one out and putting it in their goddamn car and just taking care of the fucking person. It's the same as, for me when I'm going to the grocery store and they ask me to make a $10 donation to people who don't have food, and I'm buying a carton of orange juice with a coupon. Like, fuck you. You're the giant corporation. You fucking feed those people. You've got the money. I know you have it. And anyway,
This
that's
is
my.
so that's exactly why I don't usually do that. Like, donate this amount of money to a charity, and I'm like, fucking donate that money, corporation.
Yeah,
Why
don't
don't
have.
you just donate that money? I am literally buying food for myself, and this is like, I have this amount of money for food, and if I donate, I'm not going to eat,
Right.
like, do you think about that? Like, that bothered me too when they would put up the little poster and like be like, "Hey, this person needs help with
I mean,
this
there were
and
people
this."
whose
Like,
homes burnt down,
yeah,
and, you know, but the contribution would only happen if it matched what was being contributed from the
yeah,
employees, and it just, I don't know. I look, we're charitable people, Meg and I.
yeah.
We're friends with you. I think that's evidence.
I
And
know that's a charity in itself. Um,
but are you ready for some numbers?
I'm ready for some
Can you do
numbers.
me a favor though? Do you have your phone handy?
I do.
Can you Google and just try to find a list of the department numbers for Home Depot? Because most people posted their department number and not the actual name of their department. I don't know what all of those are. Do you think that's
Okay, hold on.
Googleable? Googleable?
I think so.
Googleable? I can't get over how clear everything is now on my computer, like with this amazing internet I have.
I know. I just got a new computer for myself because my other one, as we were experiencing, was having audio issues. It was just like having saving issue. She was she was old, she was trusty. It was time. Um I still have her. I have like a computer army because I got a computer from work. So I still like have
I
all I should send a
I have a
picture of all of
stack
them set
I
up
have a
for you.
stack of dead laptops on my desk because I
Yeah.
don't know what to do with a computer once it's dead.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Hold on. Yeah, sorry. I got
I'm
distracted.
I'm gonna kind of just hit a couple of like random ones, and then if we're not sure about a department number or something, we can look into
Yeah.
that. But so I'm looking at like somebody in Texas started at $10 an hour in 2018. The district raised to 11 2 months later, and by the time they quit in July of 2021, they were making $12.83.
Are you
So
serious?
5 years. And that's after the raise, the COVID raise. We've got a pro associate who got hired at $16 an hour, got 4%, which tends to be the average in the raises that employees
Yeah.
got, to $16.64. Um, Northern California, again, another pro associate, making $15 an hour, and had not received their raise yet. Uh, LA County, someone making $14 an hour in LA.
I have the department numbers
Oh, awesome.
now. Yeah.
So, Missouri, Department 94. Uh,
94 I don't have, but 94 might be front end cashier's returns
okay.
because department D90 is,
Oh, kind of over encompassing, yeah.
yeah.
Making $15 an hour.
Yep, that sounds.
Oregon, Department 29.
29 is kitchen and bath.
Kitchen and bath. So we're talking skilled, like people
Yeah,
that are
like this is actually kitchen and bath is one of like
like
I,
extremely challenging department.
yeah.
Went from $17 an hour to 17.68. That's in Oregon. We've got a Met associate in Georgia making
Mhm.
14.50.
Yep, that's
This one I love. So Home Depot has stores in Canada and Mexico. We didn't get a lot of responses from our neighboring countries, but we do have a department head in Mexico making $32.50. Um, It would be a different currency, and I didn't convert it. Department 26, Pennsylvania,
That's plumbing.
1450. Department 78 in Georgia.
I don't have a 78.
Okay, $14 an hour.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry. 94 is deliveries. I
oh,
apologize for
oh,
that.
Jesus Christ, that's such a hard fucking job.
So how much did that delivery per $15 an hour
Yeah,
was the delivery person? Now, during the pandemic, the deliveries department was fucking insane.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I commend all of those people in the deliveries departments across the Canada, Mexico, and the United States because it was fucking insane. Sorry, Gary, but it was insane. I remember one of the people from deliveries coming up to me and like scrolling through their phone and being like, this is just within the last 5 minutes. Like, it was ridiculous.
Let's
Okay,
try a
sorry.
couple. I'm trying to. Oh, I'm listening. I'm trying to find some different department numbers here. Let's see. Department 38. Have we done that yet? I've got two different people in two different states for Department 38.
Oh God, what is
Kitch.
38? I'm on
So,
like Wiki Answers, like
that's the
it's
worst.
not um oh,
Uh,
maybe a site map? Does that tell
oh,
me the
and then there
department
was people
number?
who are on
No.
final notice, like if they've had three occurrences of being late or tardy or anything like that, they did not get a raise. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Which we should talk about all of
Let's
that
see.
crazy.
Texas, an associate in garden, making 14. So working outside in Texas, making $14 an hour.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Well, 38 is freight.
Again, these are the people that are working overnight
Yeah.
um, to keep the shelves full. We've got two of them. One of them at 1775. That's in Massachusetts, and then we have a Georgia associate making
I finally found, thank
1872.
you, Reddit, for the full list. Okay.
So I feel like this is getting a little boring. I'm looking at somebody in Metro New York making 1650.
What
Metro New York making $16.50. How many jobs do you think that person has, Lily?
for?
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna lie, four.
Yep, and their partner has
Um,
four more. Um, so look, this got
I'm just gonna,
138 responses, and the average raise was
yeah,
4%.
yeah.
4%. So 4 pennies on a dollar. So Lily's doing math, I think. This is going to
25.
be a play
There are
by play.
25 departments,
There are 25 departments.
including the ASMs, which we can get into the craziness with the ASMs as well, if you would like, because
I'm happy to listen. I'm,
I there is no structure in that fucking place. I'm sorry, but like the ASMs, at least the ones that we worked with, some of them cared so much.
yeah.
Others cared none. Um, Now I believe their wage was based on like was it hourly? Were they hourly or salary?
There was
Salary.
salary, which is going to sort of be reflected in tenure, and then they get bonuses based on
How well the store
yeah,
does.
things like
Yeah.
inventory and stuff like that.
Which
Um,
I actually so Home Depot does a like what is the program called where they give you a bonus if your store does well?
oh, the success sharing.
Success share.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is kind
Which
of a joke.
I qualified for that. Um, which was like, hell yeah, thanks. I've worked my ass off. Maybe give me more money than that.
Right.
instead of one just lump sum of money
Yeah,
being
just
like,
pay me. Just
hey,
pay
you
me.
guys just did so well. And I'm like,
Just
okay, maybe just like increase our wages
yeah.
because,
Yeah,
that'd be
instead of
nice.
giving us cheap fleeces, filling our lockers with candy, and shitty pizza being piled up every once in a while, maybe that money, the fun fund, I think they called it, maybe just
Oh, I
maybe just
know.
maybe just pay us better so we can have fun outside of this place.
I had access to like all of that, like
Oof,
all of what they've spent on like the
that's
fun fund or
yeah,
the PP card, they call it.
yeah,
I saw all of those numbers.
yeah,
Like
and it's absurd, isn't it?
I know how much money they keep in the vault. Like I know how much like fun cash they would spend on like ice cream and like they
Every fuck,
basically it
every.
felt like
Did you ever see the graveyard of dead grills outside of
yes.
that store?
Yes,
Every
because
fucking
every
time they
time
have a fucking like barbecue, they just
buy a
buy
new
new grills instead
yeah,
of just using the old grill. Drives me
yeah,
crazy. I do have one
yeah.
more department and person whose wage I want to put out here. The Home Depot CEO, John Manier, made $13,995,092. That is a 28.5% increase over 2019. Pay for the top five executives in Home Depot jumped 43% in 2020. Now, like I said, the average for the wage, boots on the ground, getting screamed at by customers, the average increase was
4%.
fucking percent. So
4%.
now, if we start talking about what we make and what we do and talking to each other about it, then guess what? It's not a union. They're gonna work really
Yeah.
hard to suppress that.
I'm sorry. That you know me. I am
Yeah.
a part of a union.
Tell us about some of the training videos when you got hired at Home Depot, Lily.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this was one of my biggest fucking pet peeves with them is they are very anti-union. Very much so. Like it was don't talk about it, very hush hush. Like I would try and talk about me being in a union that like just because I'm in a union and like I would get death glares from certain ASMs because I was talking about my job that I
Where
have
you're at a
been
union.
doing and the fact that I am in a union and it's very beneficial for me because I have rights
Yeah.
as a
So
as a human.
would you say that your wage at the job where you are in a union, would you say that suffers by with your union dues there,
Nope,
Lily?
nope,
Yeah,
not at all.
you
Not at
know,
all.
like if I had the time and energy to help people start a union, I would. I don't, but I would. I'd start a we'd call it the Chester Union.
Chester Union, the Chester Union, the union to unite Chester against all Home
So,
Depot workers. Yeah. Are we going to
I
unionize Home Depot? Yeah.
I'm gonna
He's like, Chester loves the snow.
take off my John Deere hat here.
Um,
Um,
so he's like loving the fact that it's snowing right now, and he's really pissed off that we're not playing in it. So, anyways, back to the anti-union like orientation videos that we had to watch. And it basically being like, if you talk about the union, your job will be threatened.
yep, no, you'll be
Um,
terminated.
yes.
Um,
The
the reenactments of people like trying to like pick you up,
yes.
like pickup artists for unions.
It was kind of hilarious. I was like, what?
I wonder if we
Um,
can find one of these videos on YouTube or something and share
maybe,
this with the
maybe
world
someone's
because
probably, yeah. Someone's probably made like or recorded it. So anyways, just okay, what was um the other thing that really bothered me was it was very hush hush. Like, no, we don't want to talk about this. Like when someone got a COVID case.
Well,
Um,
that I mean, HIPAA laws you can't say, right?
correct. However, like, how are you supposed to know if you were in contact with said person
Right. And if that person's memory is not as
is not great?
like, oh yeah, I definitely hung out with Lily for like 20 minutes, in the vault, and
Yeah, like that that kind of bothered me because I was like, we're already all freaked out because we're all working during a pandemic, and then you take us all into a room.
oh yeah,
Like it
just
was,
to
you were
talk
like
about,
spaced apart and
yeah,
you were like, okay. And then they were like, please do not take this information outside of the room.
yep.
And I was like, bitch, I'm gonna tell everybody. Like, everybody is gonna know
Look,
this. I'm
I,
sorry, but like,
I,
I cannot stand the fact that you're like, yeah, don't, shh, we didn't have a COVID case. Like, yes, we
we're
did.
we're closing in on an hour here, which
Oh, I'm so sorry.
of our short episode
Our
today.
short episode.
But I'm going to post this in the Home Depot thread on Reddit.
Good.
Okay, I hope some employees have made it this far, and you go and look at that other post, and look at how you're not being paid, and think about what you're
Yeah.
doing every day, and don't fall for the fucking candy. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
It's really just like they're throwing candy at a wormhole. They're like,
You're
you're
in a
fine. You're fine. Don't worry. You're not being underpaid. Here's some candy.
yeah, you're in a cult.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my God, it's a fucking cult.
is there I'm gonna right before we wrap up, I kind of want to just hit some of these numbers from
Yep.
1992 to current day, but to anybody who's listening who may work in a retail job similar to Home Depot, do you have any advice on that? Like my only advice is figure out what your value is because you're a hell of a lot more valuable than you think you are. I turned my resume public and was receiving 4 to 6 texts, emails, and calls a day once I made my resume public. And
Yeah.
I was in control. I was in the driver's seat about finding a job that brought me satisfaction and the money to support my life.
And in fairness, retail workers are a part of our society, and some people really love
Absolutely.
working
Yeah.
retail. And, there were moments where I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of fun. Like,
Yeah.
but honestly, the money is what really you should assess and your worth.
So remember, I'm maybe I'm going to talk about it anyway. This won't take very long. Do
Yeah.
you remember, and I know you do, the drunk lady that
Yes.
I made you walk with
Yes.
me out to look at
Yes.
that, where she wanted to spend 5 grand on something and she wanted to open up a credit card.
Yep.
And I felt really fucking uncomfortable about opening
Yeah.
up a credit card for somebody who was drunk. Like clear, I
Yeah.
mean, how drunk would you put her on a scale of 1 to 10? You were
She was like a 9. She was bad.
hammered. I
Hammered,
reached
hammered
out.
dry. She
I
was
reached out
also
to her.
like yelling, I think,
Oh yeah,
at one point. She
she was
was
very
it
upset.
was
She was
bad, and honestly, you looked at me and I was like, "Yep, I'm coming."
so I reached out to one of the assistant store managers and asked, like, this lady wants a credit card. She's fucking hammered. And do you know what that manager
They
said to
said
me?
give her a credit card.
Doesn't
They
matter if there's a needle hanging out of her arm. Sign
Yeah,
her up.
yep. I remember that. And you repeated that to me, like because we had stepped aside because I stayed with you during that entire time,
Because
even
I
though I
was
don't.
afraid she was gonna fall over and say I pushed
Yeah.
her or something. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
And I I honestly probably had something else. I probably was supposed to be on a register, but you were felt
I was
unsafe, you
concerned.
were uncomfortable, you were concerned, and upper management did nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
Because they're
absolutely ridiculous
incentivized to get credit cards.
because they're incentivized to get credit cards. This is exactly what I was talking about
It's
at the
money, not
beginning.
people.
Money, not people.
And that's how, between 1992 and 1996, average CEO pay at top 500 corporations roughly doubled from $4 million to $8 million.
Yep,
Greg
because it's
Manier
money, not
makes almost
people.
$14 million.
Yeah, well, he's not like this is why people ask me why I have a problem with Amazon.
Is there a problem with Amazon?
I hate it. I they don't pay.
I know.
It's the exact
Uh,
same.
that
Yeah.
that that warehouse though is going back to vote after the
Yeah.
courts found that it was manipulated and rigged by Amazon. They had
Yes.
cameras on the ballot boxes. They had their own ballot boxes.
Yes.
They did everything they could to confuse and muddy the process of
Mm-hmm.
unionizing that warehouse,
Yep.
and went to court. Now they get to revote. So fingers crossed. We're starting to see a resurgence in unions in
Which,
this
yeah,
country.
I
Um, I mean,
Amazon really needs
I'm
to.
not in a union. I'm not in a business where I even feel the need for a union, right?
I mean, you work for like a cute little 50
Yeah, like a great
503. Yeah,
not-for-profit
like a nonprofit,
organization.
like
Like, I
you,
couldn't be happier.
yeah,
You know, the juxtaposition of going from a place where it's money, not people, and going to
and
people
from people, not
to,
money, like
yeah,
they,
and
you're
building a utility that is
you
a need.
telling me some of the stuff that they're like pull you aside and be like, you didn't fill out your time card right, you're underpaying yourself. Like that's the type of like,
Yeah. So it's a good and fuzzy feeling, and it's that good
yeah,
and fuzzy feeling that really got me thinking about how terrible I felt for 2 years.
yeah, no,
And
I would. Oh
and
gosh, I
I just want
honestly,
people to feel good.
I didn't stay there very long. Yeah, I was probably more than 9 months. I don't actually, I've kind of like blocked out the amount of time that I was
You
there
were
because
drinking a lot.
I know I was trash the entire. No, actually, I would like wake up, I would do my job, I would go home, and I would go to sleep. Like that's, and I don't nap. The
No, I
people
don't
who know
either.
me know that I don't nap. I hate naps, and I was so depressed. Like I realized this after, after getting out. I was like, oh dang, like it was just okay. Anyways,
I don't know
this
how to
this
wrap this
short
up.
episode
Yeah, a
turned
short
turned
episode
into
where
um
we want everybody to be happy and make money, and
correct.
because
And
our
talk about
society
your
needs it.
wage.
Talk
Like
about your wage.
don't
Oh
let a
fuck.
corporation be like, oh, you make don't tell your superior blah blah blah, your the person you
Don't.
work with how
Yeah.
much you make. Like do it. Talk to
I'm
people.
disappointed that you and I didn't talk about it at any point, but that would have been awkward because
At
not only
that
our
point, I
friendship
think
was,
we did kind of like skirt around. We were like, "Oh, how do you feel about talking about your wage?" And we
I
both
often said
agreed.
that I was overpaid for what I did.
Yeah. We both agreed um that talking about wages were good, but I remember being kind of terrified to talk about it in Home Depot
Right.
because of just there are ears everywhere in that
The
place.
fucking cult.
Oh yeah, no, and it was. Oh, people thought we were married. It was really
Oh
funny.
yeah, didn't
Yeah,
somebody thought we were married?
someone thought we were married. Someone thought we were dating.
Yeah.
Someone. It was very weird, and we were like, No, this is just a normal friendship,
Yeah, this
people.
is
This
what
is what human interaction looks like.
doesn't
Are you
doesn't
okay?"
doesn't have to have more on top of it.
I know. I was like, okay, why everything was drama in that place. Everything was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, they're talking. Like,
Right. And
so
if they would
what? Like,
just
oh my God, we could just be talking about poop, like, or dogs. Like,
um again, I don't want to. So I once got pulled aside from by a manager for using the family restroom. Did I ever tell you
seriously?
about that? Yeah.
Everyone used that.
Right. But I
Literally
specifically,
everyone.
and my response was, I have to eat my lunch in a room full of people. I have to breathe every minute of my day in a room full of people. I'm going to take a shit in private. And they did not know what to say.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's exactly where you would go to poop. That would
It's the best
that's the
place.
the, the pooping bathroom.
And
Like
there's certain
that's
people that hide in there like for hours.
yeah.
was
Yeah,
very impressive. But it's not all bad. We became friends.
exactly.
So,
This podcast would not have existed without our
ah,
mutual.
so we're attacking the beast that created the thing.
Well, honestly, but that's okay. That's okay. Sorry, that was
S-
atrocious.
I talked over you before, but any closing thoughts, Lily, on this
Um, no,
subject?
I mean, I think we're both very happy with our new positions,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't, you know, I would
It was
encourage
very
people
hard
to,
not to talk about this for the last year
yeah,
on this show.
it was very hard because a lot of stuff would come up and it would be like, oh my God, we want to talk about this. How do we talk about it? We've had to like bleep out the fact that we've talked about Home Depot.
Yeah, because
I
we
remember I
feared
let
for
it,
our
we've,
jobs.
we've, like we've let it slip before and we would be like, oh my God, oops. And then we'd have to like cut that entire portion out of the podcast.
It's a cult, people.
It is.
It's a
All
cult.
right, go to Lowe's.
They're not any better.
No,
I worked for them for 5 fucking years
I know you
too.
did. I know.
So, all right. I'm gonna stop recording. But
Yep.
is our Team Cheeks shirt available?
Not yet. I am going to upload the image
Okay.
later
Are,
today. So it
okay.
will be available tomorrow.
Should we finally make a fuck capitalism shirt?
I think we should. I think it's
Okay.
time.
Let's
I
let's
think
make
it's
some.
time. I will
Let's design some
send me
shit.
some reference images that you kind of want and then I'll make it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Sweet.
yeah. I'm
Team
on
making
Inst.
team cheats was super fun, by the
Yes.
way, because I was like drive my parents were driving through the roads of Italy and they
And
were
you're
like, "Oh,
sending
what
me
you doing
pictures of
back there?"
butts.
And I'm like, "Drawing butts. What are you guys doing?" Like,
um, the so Redbubble.
yep.
Just search for partial credit. I'm on TikTok. Uh, Sacred Play-Doh, spelt like the smooshy stuff, not the philosopher. Also on Instagram, Sacred Play-Doh. You're on Instagram, Deadly Pineapple 13. If you would like to yell at us and tell us how amazing Home Depot has been for you, please send us an email. I would love to read it. Uh,
Partial.credit.pod@gmail.com.
yes.
We're also on social media.
Come find
Partial
us.
credit.
I want to talk to you, Home
Yeah.
Depot peeps.
Yeah. Come talk to it. Even if you don't work any retail job, come talk
Really,
to
yeah.
us.
Yeah. Let's get this shit out here.
Yeah, let's get this shit out. If you have a great story, we'll read it.
Yeah, I really do.
Like,
I've seen
yeah.
people poop their pants in the store. I left that
Uh,
out.
yep. I remember you texting me that, and I was like, "Oh my!" The best part about that. Let's end on this note, though.
Okay.
The best part about that, you were like, "Yeah, this man like shit his pants," and I was like, "Oh, okay. He probably like went home and was like, oh my God,
Yep.
no." You said he continued shopping with a towel around
Yeah.
him.
He cleaned
Where
his
did
clothes.
he get the towel?
He cleaned his clothes in the toilet
Oh God, the
in the
toilet.
public restroom, and then went out to his car and got like a towel or something, and came back in and finished his shopping,
Now,
which was like a
if I
couple light
ever
switches, I think.
if I ever shit my pants in a store, first of all, I
I'm
am
out.
running for the fucking door. Like I am running at that point. It is done. We're done shopping. We are like those light switches are not important anymore. It is number one, get home to clean. Like it's not, oh, I'm just gonna clean my pants in the toilet. No, for me it's get the fuck home. I was dying when you told me that.
Yeah.
God. You have a
Uh,
great retail story. We'd love to hear. Okay,
yeah.
thank you so much. This has
Yeah.
been our
I hope you made
episode
it to the
of,
shit in the pants portion of the show.
yeah,
Current events, podcast with a twist,
there
whatever.
might be an intermission. Sorry, intermission.
No, I think we're just fucking going for it.